everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for this Connect and Recharge Full Body Flexibility Yin. During this class, we're going to work through different poses that are going to help you release tension and obviously gain flexibility. You might need 2 blocks or anything that you can think of to replace it, even maybe some pillows or a bolster. And when you're ready, just go ahead and meet me on the mat.
Get close to you. Get close to you. Get close to you. Get close to you.
Alright, so when you guys are ready, you can grab your blocks, place them towards the top of your mat to begin, because that's probably where you're going to need them first. And simply come into a laying on your back position. When you're here, hands are by your side, arms are by your side, palms are facing down, and right away bringing your legs simply straight up, feet are flexed, belly button is up and in here. Simply trying to keep your legs as straight as possible here. When you're here, I'll invite you to close your eyes if you haven't already done so. Bringing your focus on your breath. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Releasing any tension that you might be holding on to. Any expectations that you might have for yourself. Simply focusing on letting yourself be in this present moment. On your next inhalation, pressing the hands down, slowly lift your hips up, rocking yourself back for a gentle Plow pose. When you're here, maybe you start to walk your hands a little bit closer, making sure that your belly button is up and in, that tailbone is tucked, so you're trying to keep your hips stacked here. If you need to, keep your hands to rest behind your back to help you to begin, or maybe you can go ahead and clasp the fingers together. Again, here, focusing on your breath. Next inhalation, maybe keep your hands where they are or try and slightly sway your hands up, arms up and overhead, palms facing up. Then when you're here, maybe you stay here or maybe try and bend in the legs. Again, choosing a variation that feels most comfortable for you, since we're going to be holding it for a few more breaths here. Not doing any crazy contortion move. If your legs are bent, make sure that you're pressing those legs down by your side onto the mat. 3 more breaths here wherever you are. So again, if wherever you are, keeping those hips as stacked as you can over those shoulders. Next exhalation, slowly lower, trying to keep your legs straight, thighs come to your chest. When you make your way all the way down, slowly bend both legs, wrap your arms around your legs, slowly clasping your hands, your arms together, maybe taking a few rocks from side to side here. Whatever feels most comfortable for you. On your next inhalation, keeping a hold onto that right thigh, slowly extending your left leg out in front of you, foot is flexed. When you're here, trying to bring that right thigh as close to your armpit as you can, maybe taking some circles here with your right ankle. Again, focusing on your breath. Trying to find a little bit more expansion, a little bit more space with every exhalation. Next inhalation, slowly bend into that left leg, lifting it up, and slowly unclasp your hands, stacking your right ankle over that left knee. When you're here, arms are going to clasp around and under your left thigh. And on your next exhalation, trying to bring that left thigh as close to your chest as you can, taking this little quad stretch here. And again, maybe you want to take a few movements from side to side, ensuring that your feet are flexed here, keeping your back glued to the mat. Two more breaths here wherever you are. Next inhalation, slowly release the hands by your side. Walking that right leg on top of the left one, bending both legs so your legs are stacked on top of one another. We're going to take Supta Gomukhasana, so flexing both feet. Next inhalation, trying to grab onto the outside of both feet. On your exhale, simply try and bring your heels to your bum, keeping your thighs glued to your chest. And your spine, your back is glued to the mat the entire time. Maybe you stay here, maybe that's enough of a stretch for you, or maybe on your next exhalation, again, trying to walk your feet out in this little D shape, pressing your feet down towards the ground, keeping your back glued to the mat, focusing on your breath. Letting go of any expectations that you might have for yourself. Truly simply focusing on how the pose feels for you. Taking this time to connect with your body. 2 more breaths here wherever you are. Next inhalation, slowly release the feet, bringing the thighs back into your chest. Take a moment here. Again, maybe taking a few rocks from side to side. On your next inhalation, bending into your right leg, straightening your left leg again out in front of you. Next inhalation, you're going to extend that right arm, palm facing down, out by your side, and slowly taking a side twist, so letting that right leg fall out by your side towards the left. Here, wherever you are, the most important thing, again, is that you keep your shoulder blades glued to the mat, so it doesn't matter if that leg touches the ground or not. Looking towards the right. And maybe you stay here, maybe you take a slight bend into that left leg, grabbing onto your foot with that right hand. Wherever you are, simply trying to focus on your breath, making those inhalations and exhalations as equal as possible. Two more breaths here wherever you are. Next inhalation, slowly extend that bottom leg if it was bent. And slowly coming back to center. Next inhalation, bend that left thigh, bringing back to your chest again, clasping your arms together, taking a few movements, maybe from side to side, bringing those thighs to your chest. And on your next inhalation, repeating the same thing on the other side. So inhaling, grabbing a hold onto that left thigh, extending that right leg out in front of you, foot is flexed. When you're here, trying to bring that left knee as close to your armpit as you can. Again, maybe taking some little circles with your ankle. Keeping your hips square, that belly button is up and in. Three more breaths here wherever you are. Again, your entire back is pressed and glued down onto the mat. Next inhalation, bending into that right leg, slowly releasing your hands, stacking that left ankle on top of your right knee, setting yourself up for that quad stretch again. Next inhalation, clasping your hands around and under that right thigh, and on your exhale, Trying to bring that thigh as close to your chest as you can, maybe taking movements again from side to side, whatever feels most comfortable for you. Trying to find a little bit more length, more space with every exhalation. Always making sure that you're not holding on to your breath. Next exhalation, slowly releasing the hands and sliding that left leg on top of your right one. Stacking your legs now, one on top of another. Setting yourself up here for Supta Gomukhasana, so feet are flexed. Next inhalation, trying to grab onto the outside of both feet. So first thing, trying to bring your feet close to your bum and glued to your chest. Your spine is glued down onto the mat. Maybe you stay here, maybe that's enough of a stretch for you. Maybe you start to walk your feet out into this like T shape. But if you do so, keeping your spine glued onto the mat. And as always, you shouldn't feel any pain when you're stretching. We all know that there's a difference between pain and discomfort. Next exhalation, slowly releasing, bringing both thighs back into your chest, taking a moment here, focusing on your breath, maybe a movement from side to side. And next inhalation, again, extending that right leg right in front of you, bending into the left, and we're going to take our side twist. So left arm comes out by your side, maybe palm facing out. Maybe you're cactusing the arms like me if you don't have enough space. And on your exhale, lowering that left leg down and out towards your right side. Again, it doesn't matter if that leg touches the ground or not, as long as your shoulder blades are glued on the mat. And again, maybe here you're bending into that bottom leg, grabbing your foot with that left hand. Wherever you are, simply focusing on your breath. Two more breaths here. Next inhalation, slowly release that bottom leg. And slowly coming back to center, bringing both thighs back into your chest. Maybe taking a few rocks from side to side. On your next inhalation, slowly take a few rocks forward and back, rocking yourself to a seated position. When you're here, placing your feet so that your toes are pointing out, heels are in, feet are a little bit wider than hips distance. Using your hands here to slowly lift yourself up for your yogi squat. So when you're here, maybe you need to readjust yourself. Your palms are going to come together in prayer to heart, using your arm strength here to press your thighs out towards the side. Trying to keep that spine straight and long, belly button is up and in. We're going to hold this for a little bit, so if you need to place a block underneath your bum, that's totally fine. Doing whatever variation that feels best for you today. So keeping that spine straight and long, feeling an opening in your hips here. Engaging Uddiyana Bandha so that belly button is up and in, removing all the air from your stomach. Three more breaths here wherever you are. Next exhalation, slowly lowering your bum all the way down onto the ground. Bringing the bottom of your feet together here, setting yourself up for a seated bound angle pose. So when you're here, feet are together, opening your feet out like you would a book. So here again, option to bring blocks underneath your thighs, or simply staying here, spine straight and long, focusing on your breath. Or if you have the flexibility or want to try, or if you also have some bolsters, as long as you're keeping that spine straight and long, walking your hands forward and trying to melt your chest down. Maybe on the ground again, maybe on some blocks or pillows. Focusing on your breath wherever you are. Next inhalation, slowly lifting up on the fingertips, locking yourself back into that seated position. When you're here, take a moment, and on your next inhalation, gonna open your legs out as wide as you can, as wide as your flexibility allows you to today, as wide as you want to today. We're going to attempt a seated wide leg forward fold. So again, you can bring your bolster here or some pillows to lay underneath your chest. Wherever you are in your next inhalation, we're going to do a few pelvic tilts. So popping kind of like your booty out. So pelvic tilt here, rocking your hips forward and back, that little motion. And on your next exhalation, walking the hands forward. Again, maybe laying your chest on some blocks or some pillows, keeping that spine straight and long wherever you are. Not comparing yourself to others again. Not holding on to your breath. Trying to be mindful of your breath. of your attention. Three more breaths here wherever you are. Next inhalation, slowly coming back onto your fingertips and lifting yourself back up into that seated position. When you're here, slowly bringing your legs back together. Feet come down onto your mat. Maybe you're going to take a few rocks, a few shakes from side to side. When you're here, clasping your fingers together, maybe you're holding onto your hands or onto your wrist, whatever feels most comfortable for you. We're going to take these little cat-cows in a seated position. So on your next inhalation, you're going to drop the belly, lift the tail, lift the gaze. Looking back. And exhale. Drawing that chin to your chest, really rounding in the back of the heart. Again, inhale, dropping the belly, lifting the tail, lifting the gaze, thinking cow here. And on your exhale, drawing that chin to your chest, thinking cat, really rounding in the back of the heart. Last one, inhale. Drop the belly, lift the tail, lift the gaze. And exhale, drawing that chin to your chest, really rounding in the back of the heart. On your next inhalation, slowly come back to center. Take a moment here. And on your next inhalation, extending your legs straight in front of you. So here again, maybe you want to practice with your yoga belt or a strap, whatever you have. Kind of loop it around your feet to help you keep straight alignment, good alignment. So your spine straight and long. Wherever you are, if you want to put a bolster or some pillows on your thighs. So next inhalation, arms come up and overhead. And exhale, leading with the heart forward. Gonna melt your heart maybe onto your chest. As long as you're keeping that spine straight, no rounding in the back of the heart. So really simply focusing on your breath. Keeping that belly button up and in. Next inhalation, planting the hands down slowly. Walk yourself back up to that seated position. And on your next exhale, hands plant down behind you so your fingertips are pointing back. We're going to take what I like to call a shoulder splits. Maybe you want to press your feet down on the ground or legs are straight out in front of you. It doesn't really matter. And start to walk your hands back. Stop whenever you feel a bit of sensation. Again, you should never feel any pain here. It's normal to feel discomfort, but choose a space and a place that you can hold for a little while. Again, not comparing yourself to others. Focusing on your breath, trying to find more space with every exhalation, releasing any tension, any emotion, any judgment that you might have. Next inhalation, slowly starting to walk your hands back up, slowly coming back into your seated position. When you're here, scoot yourself to the side so that you can come into a seated position, coming onto your shins, walking your legs out a little bit more by your side, setting your bum down onto the mat. So feet are by your side, bum is sitting down onto the mat. Maybe you stay here again, maybe that's enough of a stretch for you. Maybe you go ahead and grab your block, place it underneath your bum. Simply focusing, if you stay here, keeping that spine straight and long, belly button is up and in. Shoulders are down and away from your ears. If you want a bit more of a challenge, you can go ahead and slowly start to walk yourself back and lower yourself down into the forearms, onto the forearms here. So here again, focusing on your breath. And again, maybe if you want a bit more of a challenge, lower all the way down onto your back. Maybe arms stay by your side or come up and overhead. Taking whatever variation that feels most comfortable for you today. Two more breaths here wherever you are. Next inhalation, slowly lift yourself back up onto the forearms if you were all the way down. Slowly making your way back to that seated position. When you're here, placing your blocks by your side. And now slowly making your way, bringing your legs good together and coming into a seated on heels position. Now you're going to bring your blocks to the side, maybe on the medium or the highest height, whatever feels most comfortable for you. Placing it towards the middle of your thighs. We're going to take a ankle stretch here. So on your next exhalation, slowly, simply shifting the weight back, letting your legs lift up so you're not pressing onto the block here, you're not using any strength. You're simply sitting onto your heels and rocking your weight back. So feel a little bit of a stretch here in your ankles. So again, belly button is up and in, keeping that spine straight and long. Not pressing down into the blocks, not using strength, simply shifting that weight back. Sitting into it. Trying to Find more space with every exhalation. Next exhalation, slowly lower down. Take a moment here. And on your next inhalation, placing your blocks by your side, slowly making your way into a little tabletop position. When you're here, ensuring that your knees are in one line, and on your exhale, you're going to slowly glide that right leg out, setting yourself up here for your little frog pose. So again, maybe you want to lay your chest on some pillows. So your knees are in perfect line. Maybe your feet are going to come out a little bit. It's always easier to start laying on your chest and then move on to your forearms and then maybe onto your hands. But since we're holding it for a little bit, and again here focusing on that tilt, so you're not rounding, you're really popping your booty out, letting those hips hang down. Not holding onto your breath, because if you're holding onto your breath, you're not allowing your body to expand and get deeper into the stretch. So focusing on your breath here, wherever you are. Trying not to compare yourself to others. Next inhalation, pressing the hands, forearms down on the mat, lifting yourself back up. And on your next exhalation, slowly making your way back onto your back. So when you're here, bring the bottom of the feet together, letting the thighs fall out, coming into a reclined bound angle pose. So using your hands here to maybe bring your thighs a little closer to the ground. Focusing on your breath. Three more breaths here wherever you are. Next inhalation, slowly bring your legs back up and together. And exhale, straighten your legs out in front of you. Arms come by your side. We're going to finish this practice, as always, by taking a few breaths in Shavasana to really enable us to integrate everything that we just worked on. As always, I truly hope that you enjoyed this yin class and that you feel as relaxed as I do and that you have a wonderful day. Namaste.